So welcome. Today we will be discussing our mission, why the classified employee grant might be right for you. And then Dr. Erika Saito from UMass Global will speak about the admissions process and the credential programs at UMass Global. Michelle, if you can take time right now to scan the QR code and sign in, or just chat me your email address if you don't want to do it that way. That way I can send you the slide from today as well as the questions and answers from previous sessions as well. So I just want to introduce, there you go. Okay. I wanted to introduce EdPath. It stands for Educators Professional Advancement and Teaching Hub, which was created a year ago with equity and inclusion in mind, and for all of our work to be mindful of our educators' well-being. One moment, let me admit. And to provide access to professional growth, build a culture of collaboration, and of course, grounding our focus on being student-centered. And this is exactly what the Santa Cruz County Office of Education envisions for our community of educators, and which is why our vision for EdPath is to provide access for professional advancement opportunities. And we understand that most career pathways are not linear, and that is why we want to be a teaching hub of resources and support you as part of our mission. Well, welcome, Wayne. Good to see you again. And so moving on, the classified employee grant. This grant is it serves the purpose of our very mission by growing our own community to advance in their career pathway by providing funds to our classified staff in pursuing a teaching career and their teaching credential. And we understand that there are two barriers to entry, and that is navigating the credentialing pathway process, as well as the financial affordability of going through a teaching credential program. And so the COE was awarded 40 slots to enroll our classified staff within our county to earn a teaching credential as part of the California Classified School Employee Teacher Credentialing Program sponsored by the CTC. The CTC stands for the Commission on Teacher Credentialing. Since being awarded the grant in January, the COE funded 15 individuals who have enrolled in a credentialing program, or some of them are continuing to complete their bachelor's degree in pursuit of getting a teaching credential. So we definitely have room for more applicants. The duration of this grant ends in June of 2026. And to be eligible, you must be currently employed in one of our county district schools and must be a classified employee of those districts. If you are currently a certificated staff who holds a substitute permit, an emergency teaching permit, or even an intern credential, you may still be eligible if you were a classified employee at one point. So please be sure to contact me if you are unsure about your eligibility. You submit the grant application, which is bit.ly/SCCEG. You can see on the slide, and the slide that I will be sharing with you will also have the link to that. And then you have to enroll in one of our partnering institute of higher education, one of which is UMass Global, who is here today. And then you have to, and then you commit to the terms of the grant. And lastly, just keeping a healthy academic standing, taking care of yourself. And so there are 2 entry points. You can either have an associate's degree and continue to complete your bachelor's degree, which we can fund for your cost of tuition, fees, and books associated to the coursework that you'll be taking. Or you can hold a bachelor's degree, and if you're pursuing a teacher credentialing, to enroll in a teacher credentialing program, that is also the second entry point. And either entry point 1 or 2, we can support you with funding of up to $4,368 per enrollment year. So there is the QR code to apply for the Santa Cruz Classified Employee Grant. And then without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Dr. Erika Saito from UMass Global to introduce their program. Erika?
Thank you so much, Injin, for that introduction. So again, if there's any questions at the end, feel free to put them into the chat, and we'll have time and space to go over them. If I don't have the answers right away, I will definitely try to find the answers for you. But I do just want to share some information about the enrollment process and what the program looks like when you're with us. So just to get started, the first step is really to reach out to our enrollment coach. We do have a scan code and a unique link that is dedicated to Santa Cruz classified grant recipients, and that can be shared out after the session. And then there's the application. So once you receive that unique link, there is an application form that's fully online. And again, that unique link, I know it might look just like any other application link, but on our end is coded so that we can see that you are part of the Santa Cruz classified grant. You'll be speaking to an enrollment coach who will go over the different requirements needed to complete the process to apply. And then you also fill out the scholarship verification form. Once that is all settled and you're accepted into the program, you'll also be set up with one of our one-stop specialists who will go over the financial aspects of the tuition, and then meeting with an academic advisor to go over your academic plan. Right, so the next slide. So this is what it might look like, and I know Injin mentioned this a little bit earlier. Once you are identified as a recipient, these funds will go through 2026. And depending on your starting point, we do offer 2 different bachelor's degrees that are helpful to pursue a teaching credential. One is our bachelor's in liberal studies. It takes about 1.5 years to complete, and I'll go over this in a little bit more depth in a minute. The other is our BA Applied Studies, and this takes 1 year to complete. There are less credits involved, but the BA Applied Studies is recommended if you are pursuing a single subject teacher credential, so someone that is seeking to work in like a middle school or high school. And then for the types of programs, we offer multiple subjects, single subject, and then education specialist. So both mild to moderate and extensive support needs. All right, the next slide. So this is just a slide that goes over our Bachelor of Arts or BA in Liberal Studies. By completing this BA in Liberal Studies, it satisfies the subject matter competence, which is the CSET, which is a huge exam that covers each of the different areas that you see on this screen. So if you can imagine the CSET, oops.
Sorry.
It's okay. It goes over each of these areas. So it's 51 credits in total. We recommend that you take a maximum of 2 courses per term, or we call them sessions. Each session is about 8 weeks long. We have 8 of those sessions per year. So 12 courses, 36 credits, which amount to about 18 months if you complete them back to back. So about a year and a half to complete the BA in Liberal Studies. So again, that satisfies the subject matter competence, also known as the CSET. Okay, next slide. So this is a really important piece, especially as you have completed your bachelor's degree and you're moving into the teacher credentialing portion, are the non-coursework requirements. If you are a classified employee, you may already have some of this information with you. So things like a certificate of clearance, a negative TB test, or a CPR certification, those are required prior to starting your clinical practice. But then in addition to that, fortunately, I can remove the basic skills requirement because your your bachelor's degree would satisfy the basic skills requirement. And if you have a bachelor's in liberal studies and pursuing a multiple subject credential, that would meet the requirement for subject matter competency. So then that would mean the US Constitution requirement and and then maintaining a 3.0 cumulative GPA. All right. All right. And this is just a brief overview. I know people are always curious about what the courses look like. So the preclinical coursework for multiple subjects, they're listed out here. So 33 credits total. Some people are pursuing it, and I don't know what it looks like within each district, but if people are pursuing like an internship eligibility for us means completing the first 4 courses within this sequence, plus the non-coursework requirements to meet internship eligibility. So that's just one thing to consider. And again, if you're going full-time, 2 courses per session, each session is 8 weeks long. That means 16 weeks where you could reach internship eligibility alongside meeting the non-coursework requirements. Okay. And then the next slide shows just a similar outline, but for a single subject. So the different courses that are offered. And for the clinical coursework, is either your student teaching or internship. So either of those, and each of those are 2 courses, 4.5 credits each. Okay. And then this is just serve as a reminder of our fall session. It actually begins August 26th. So our application is due August 12th. We have 6 start dates throughout the year. So we have 2 in the fall, 2 in the spring, and 2 in the summer. So that can kind of help you guide you with your plans. And I think the recommendation and maybe one of the requirements would be to take courses continuously throughout the year. So we actually don't have like a summer break. We continue year round. And this is just a reminder to understand the types of services that we offer. Our enrollment coach would be your first point of contact as you apply. Our academic advisors would be the point person for your education plan. So if you have questions about your courses or what you need to complete, they would be the guide that would be supporting you along the way. And then our one-stop specialist would be there to answer any questions that you might have for financial planning. And then for academic support, we do offer free writing and math tutoring, free tech support, and accessible education. One thing I forgot to mention here that we do have within our teacher credentialing program is test prep. So if you are pursuing a multiple subject credential, we do offer free test prep for the RICA through Teach Us. And we also offer free test prep for CSET as well. So it's one thing I forgot to mention on this slide. And then we also offer career services. So we have the professional digital portfolio coaching. We also have Handshake, which is an online platform, and then alumni services. So this is probably the most important slide, which is how do you contact all of us if you have any questions? So our enrollment coach, we have a phone number and an email address. Again, all this will be shared back with all of you. One of our academic advisors who is dedicated to this work is Michelle Blancas, but we do have a general academic advisor as well, but feel free to reach out either by phone or email our one-stop specialist that's also dedicated to the classified employee grants. And then within our School of Education, as you're going through your academic program, we also have our Associate Dean, who is also a director of partnerships within the School of Education. And her name is Dr. Sasha Crowley. She is a great person to contact if you have questions during your time in clinical practice or during your courses. If you have any questions, of course, you can reach out to her as well as your professors. And then for me, any questions that you might have, you're more than welcome to reach out to me by email. There's also my cell phone number there. You can always call or text me, but please just remember to provide context. So if you say, hey, this is Sandra, I have a question for you, da, 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 I might not know Sandra from. From where? Like, are you my daughter's friend? Please be mindful of time. And then one last thing that my internet says it's unstable. Hopefully you guys can hear me. It's just thinking about your futures. I think it's always important to think about. So, as you enter into this pathway of pursuing a teaching credential, to also think about your future, as you go through induction, if you want to pursue additional certificates, degrees, professional development, move into leadership positions, pursuing a doctorate. I just thought this would be helpful visual of, and I know it's a long process, but step by step, just looking at the bigger picture of where you are and where you can be. So that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erika. As Erika mentioned, there's different financial help and advisory at UMass Global. And so if you are interested in enrolling in UMass Global, you may also want to ask about the Golden State Teacher Grant Program. There are other state level and federal level financial aid packages that you might want to explore. Another thing, as a classified employee, many of you might be CSEA due paying members. And so if you are, CSEA Union also has a scholarship of $1,000 that you might want to look into. So that's just two areas of other funding opportunities that you might be eligible for. And so now I'm just going to stop sharing and just open up the floor for questions.